The last thing I wanted to mention was that it can be helpful to look at the CSS unit pages on a couple of different resources. So if we do a search in Google for CSS unit, we'll see the W3 Schools page, as well as the developer.mozilla page, though Mozilla calls it length, while W3 Schools keeps it simple, but maybe a little bit less accurate. So if we compare these side by side, on the W3 Schools side, it gives us a set of relative lengths. Here, again, we used EMs and REMs, but there are other ones that come into play more often with mobile devices, and then there's a couple ones that aren't used an awful lot. And then if you scroll down, here's the absolute units that we can use. Again, pixels is the most common, and it equals 1/96th of an inch. And that's it for this page. So on the developer.mozilla page, it starts off by giving us some details that are maybe a little wordy, but they're accurate. So for example, it says that the length is a CSS data type that denotes distance, and it's a number followed by a length unit. It lists some of the properties that use units or length. And then as we scroll down, it gives us additional details about each measurement and also some tips. So for example, it says here that the unit is often used to create scalable layouts. This is something that we haven't had to deal with yet because we haven't really been dealing with layouts. We've been focusing on specific elements, but this will come into play later. And then when we get down to REMs, it also says that if not supported by the targeted browsers, such a layout can be achieved using the EM unit. So here's an example of some CSS that we might end up wanting to use, but that might not be supported by all browsers. So before we start using REMs, let's take a look at what our risk is there. That is, which browsers don't support REMs, and is that something we need to be worried about? And as we scroll down, it shows us some more information about absolute units, and then some reference material at the bottom.